before kings ruled empires, before prophets raised their voices in the wilderness, before Moses parted the sea, and before the flood that would change the face of the world, there lived a man. A quiet man. A holy man. A man whose life left behind no armies, no palaces, no monuments. And yet, his story echoes through eternity, because he did something almost no one else in all of Scripture ever did. He walked with God. His name was Enoch. You may not have heard much about him. The Bible says very little, just a few verses. But those few verses hold within them a lifetime of mystery, a testimony of devotion, and a glimpse of a kind of closeness with God that most of us can only dream of. Tonight, I invite you on a journey, not just a story, but a reflection, a meditation, a holy walk. This is not a tale filled with battles or kingdoms or thunder from the skies. It is not a tale of burning bushes or parted waters. No, this is a quiet story, a slow story, the kind of story you feel in your bones, long after the words are gone. Enoch did not fight. He did not reign. He did not lead a nation. He simply walked with God, and in the end, he did not die. Yes, you heard that right. He did not die. He simply was no more, because God took him. Just imagine that. One day, you're walking beside the fields, your thoughts turn toward heaven, your heart beating in rhythm with the divine. And then, you step into eternity. No pain, no fear, no last breath. Just the gentle embrace of the God you have known all your life. This is the legacy of Enoch. And yet, behind this brief, sacred mystery lies something far more powerful than we often realize. Because Enoch's story isn't just about what happened to him. It's about what is possible for us. You see, Enoch's walk with God was not a magic trick. It wasn't a reward for perfection. It wasn't a mystical escape from suffering. It was a daily life of quiet obedience. A journey of trust. A long, slow faithfulness. In a world that was already beginning to forget its maker. Enoch lived in a time not so different from our own. People were multiplying. Civilizations were expanding. But something sacred was fading. People were turning inward, turning to idols, turning to pride. And yet, there was Enoch. A man who turned the other way. Who listened for the voice that others ignored. Who chose light when the world chose shadows. Who held on to holiness as the world slipped into compromise. Enoch lived before the law, before the prophets, before the church. He had no scriptures, no tabernacle, no commandments etched in stone, no temple choirs singing praises in the sanctuary. He had only God, and that was enough. He had only the stars above him, the breath in his lungs, the whisper of the Spirit on the wind. He had only the Creator, and his own heart, and so he walked, day after day, year after year, for 300 years. He walked. When others mocked, he walked. When others sinned, he walked. When others forgot, he remembered. When others built their lives on sand, he built his steps on the steady rhythm of heaven's call. This was Enoch. And when the time came, God did not allow death to touch him. He was not found. He was gone. Because God had taken him. Why? What does it mean? What does it tell us? Enoch's story is more than a mystery. It's a message. It's a divine whisper echoing across the centuries saying, "This is what I desire." Not rituals. Not performance. But presence. A heart that walks with me. The world remembers power. God remembers intimacy. The world celebrates kings. God honors the quiet, faithful steps of a soul in love with him. So tonight, as you listen, as your breath slows, as your eyes begin to rest, let this not be just a story. Let it be an invitation to walk, not to run. not to strive, not to chase perfection, but to walk with him in the silence, in the unseen, in the ordinary hours of your ordinary life. Because Enoch did not walk in fire and thunder. He walked in stillness. He walked through sunrises and family dinners, through quiet fields and unspoken prayers, through the laughter of children and the mourning of loss. And through it all, he walked with God. And so can you. Let the world spin as it will. Let the noise rise and fall. You were not made to race. You were made to walk. And not alone, but with the one who made you, who knows your name, who walks beside you still. So breathe in and breathe out. Set your burdens down. Open your heart and listen. For the God who walked with Enoch walks still, and he is near. Part 2. The story of Enoch. Long before the days of kings and prophets, before Israel and Egypt, before the flood that would cleanse the earth, there lived a man whose life shimmered like a light in the ancient world's gathering darkness. His name was Enoch. Enoch was born in the 7th generation from Adam. He was the great-great-great-great-grandson of Seth, the son given to Adam and Eve after the death of Abel. In those early centuries of mankind, the world was still new, yet the seeds of wickedness were already beginning to take root. The descendants of Adam multiplied across the earth, but with them came the spread of pride, violence, and rebellion. But in the midst of a world drifting from its creator, Enoch was different. The scriptures tell us very little in words, but they speak volumes in silence. The book of Genesis records it this way. And Enoch lived 65 years, and begot Methuselah. And Enoch walked with God after he begot Methuselah 300 years, and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Enoch were 365 years. And Enoch walked with God. And he was not, for God took him. It is this phrase, Enoch walked with God, that sets him apart. In all the early generations listed before the flood, most lives were summed up simply. They lived, they had children, and they died. But not Enoch. He walked with God. Not just once. Not for a moment. But for 300 years. What does it mean to walk with God? It is not a casual stroll. It is not occasional prayer. To walk with God is to live every day with him. To speak with him. To listen. To trust. To obey. It is intimacy with the divine. A nearness that transcends ritual and becomes relationship. Enoch's life was marked not by miracles or warfare or wealth, but by presence. The presence of God. Day by day, year after year, Enoch lived in harmony with the will of the Almighty. He did not chase after the ways of the world. He did not indulge in the corruption that surrounded him. He set his heart on things above. And God noticed. Imagine Enoch rising with the sun, whispering his morning prayers as the world awakened around him. Imagine him tending to his family, caring for his children, instructing them in righteousness, teaching them to reverence the one who made the stars. Picture him under the night sky, speaking quietly with his creator, listening to whispers on the wind, feeling the nearness of the eternal in the hush of the evening. There were no scriptures then, no written laws, no temples or sacrifices as we would know them later. But Enoch knew God, deeply, personally. He carried him in his heart. His son, Methuselah, would go on to live longer than any man in history. But it was Enoch, his father, whose time on earth was most extraordinary. The Bible says, and he was not, for God took him. He was not. One day, Enoch simply disappeared. There was no funeral, no burial, no final goodbye. He was walking with God. And then he was gone. Taken, not by illness or age, but by the hand of God himself. This is the mystery. This is the wonder. Enoch did not taste death. His body was not left behind. The earth lost him, but heaven gained him. In the New Testament, the writer of Hebrews reflects on Enoch's life. By faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found, because God had translated him. for before his translation he had this testimony, that he pleased God. Enoch pleased God. There is no greater praise that can be said of a man. But what else do we know? Some ancient traditions, preserved outside the canonical Bible, offer a deeper glimpse. The Book of Enoch, an ancient Jewish writing revered by early Christians, speaks of visions, journeys, and revelations. According to that book, Enoch was a prophet, a seer who was given heavenly insight into the nature of the cosmos and the destiny of mankind. He was shown the secrets of the heavens, the movements of the stars, the boundaries of the earth, and the dwelling places of angels. He saw the fall of the Watchers, angels who abandoned their place and corrupted humanity. He saw the judgment that would come, the flood that would cleanse. He was shown visions of the Son of Man, the chosen one who would sit on the throne of glory. In these writings, Enoch is not just a man who walked with God, but one who was taken into God's counsel. He was clothed in light. He was entrusted with mysteries. He became a messenger between the heavens and the earth. Whether or not every word of the Book of Enoch is to be accepted as divine truth, it reveals something powerful about how Enoch was remembered, as a man so close to God that the veil between realms was lifted. But even without those writings, the core remains clear. Enoch walked with God, and was not, for God took him. This simple testimony echoes through time. It stands in contrast to a world full of noise and distraction. It calls us to something deeper. Enoch's life invites us to consider, what does it look like to live in such communion with God, that death becomes unnecessary? What kind of holiness draws the eternal so near? Perhaps Enoch was not taken away merely as a reward, but as a symbol, a glimpse of the future, a promise that those who walk closely with God will one day be with him forever. We are reminded of Elijah, who too was taken up, this time in a chariot of fire. And we are reminded of Jesus, who ascended into heaven after his resurrection. Enoch was a forerunner, a signpost pointing forward. In him, we see the possibility of a life so pleasing to God, so filled with faith, that even death itself is overcome. In the words of Jude, the servant of Jesus Christ, we hear again of Enoch. Enoch, the seventh from Adam, prophesied, saying, "Behold, the Lord comes with 10,000s of his saints, to execute judgment upon all." Enoch, though long gone, still speaks. His life is quiet, yet powerful. Simple, yet profound. Brief in the record, but eternal in its echo. And what do we learn? We learn that holiness is possible. We learn that a man can walk with God, not in theory, but in daily reality. We learn that in the darkest of generations, one can still shine. And we learn that God sees. He sees the one who seeks him. He remembers the one who honors him. He draws near to the one who walks with him. And sometimes, just sometimes, he brings them home, without pain, without sorrow, without fear, just home. So in the quiet of the night, when the world is asleep, and your soul is still, remember Enoch. Remember that one man's walk with God was enough to rewrite the rules of mortality. And know, that same invitation remains for you. Part 3. The Mysteries of Enoch. The story of Enoch, while brief in the canon of Scripture, stretches like a shadow across the pages of both ancient text and eternal mystery. In the few words offered to us in Genesis, and echoed again in the Epistle to the Hebrews and the short book of Jude, we catch glimpses of a man unlike any other, a man whose intimacy with God transcended death itself. But as generations passed, questions began to stir in the hearts of those who studied the Scriptures. Who was this man? What did he know? What did he see? Why did God take him? And where did he go? These questions echo through the ancient world, and from that echo came a book, or rather, a collection of books. The Book of Enoch. Not included in the Bible as we know it today, the Book of Enoch was once treasured by Jewish communities and early Christians. It is even quoted directly in the New Testament by Jude, the brother of Jesus. For centuries, it was lost to history, surviving only in fragments until a full version in Guiz, the ancient liturgical language of Ethiopia, was rediscovered. This book offers a deeper look into the world Enoch might have known. A world where the divine and earthly intertwined, where angels walked among men, and where the heavenly realm was not so distant. In the pages of the Book of Enoch, we find a man not only walking with God, but speaking with angels, seeing visions, being shown the hidden structures of creation. Enoch, it says, was taken into the heavens. He did not merely vanish. He ascended. And what he saw there would become the stuff of eternal wonder. The first section of the Book of Enoch is known as the Book of the Watchers. In it, Enoch tells of angels who descended to earth, heavenly beings who were supposed to watch and protect, but instead, they transgressed. They took human women as wives and taught humanity forbidden knowledge. They taught sorcery, astrology, warfare, and vanity. These angels are called the Watchers. Their children, the Nephilim, were giants, great in size and strength, but full of corruption. Violence spread across the land. Blood cried out from the soil. The balance of creation was breaking. And so, Enoch was chosen to deliver a message. God sent him to pronounce judgment on the Watchers. Imagine that, a man, flesh and blood, sent to confront divine beings, to declare their doom, to tell them that heaven had not turned a blind eye. In awe and fear, the Watchers begged Enoch to intercede on their behalf. But it was too late. The judgment had been sealed. In his visions, Enoch saw the coming of a great flood, a flood that would wash the earth clean of corruption. He saw the destiny of souls, the order of the stars, the calendar of heaven itself. He described the chambers of the winds, the path of the sun and moon, the seasons and their rulers. He was shown the place of the righteous and the abyss of the wicked. He saw thrones and rivers of fire, and the face of the great glory. And he wrote it all down, not for his generation alone, but for a distant one, for us. The Book of Enoch says, Enoch, a righteous man whose eyes were opened by God, saw the vision of the Holy One in the heavens, which the angels showed me, and from them I heard everything, and from them I understood as I saw, but not for this generation, but for a remote one which is to come. A remote generation. A future people. You and me. But what are we to make of these visions? Are they literal? Symbolic? Mythical? Metaphysical? Scholars have debated these questions for centuries. Some see the Book of Enoch as inspired, others as a window into ancient imagination. But all agree, its impact was profound. The early church fathers read it. The writers of the Dead Sea Scrolls copied it. Early Christian theology was shaped by it. And at its heart lies a message not of speculation, but of holiness, of judgment, of faith, of hope, of a man who pleased God so deeply that the veil was pulled back. Enoch was not merely taken. He was entrusted. Entrusted with visions of eternity. Entrusted with words not meant for then, but for now. What does it mean that he saw the future? What does it mean that he saw the throne of the Chosen One? Could it be that in his visions, Enoch saw the coming of Christ? Some believe so. In Enoch's visions, there is one who is described as the Son of Man, who sits on a throne of glory, who will judge the living and the dead. He is full of righteousness, and all creation bows before him. The parallels are unmistakable. Was Enoch shown the Messiah? If so, then his story is not just a mystery of the past, but a signpost toward redemption. And maybe that is the true mystery. Not that Enoch walked with God, but that God walked with Enoch. That in a world unraveling, heaven still reached down. That in a man forgotten by history, eternity planted a seed. That the creator of galaxies chose to reveal himself to a walker, to a man not concerned with power, but presence. Not chasing signs, but simply following the path of obedience. That's the miracle. Enoch's story is not over. It lives on in the hearts of those who dare to walk slowly, who dare to seek the voice of God in the silence, who dare to believe that the mysteries of heaven are not reserved for the mighty, but for the meek. You see, the greatest mystery is not what Enoch saw, but what he became, a friend of God. And that is a mystery offered to you as well, if only you choose to walk. Part 4, Enoch's Prophecies. Echoes from the ancient future. In the shadowed spaces between Genesis and Revelation, few voices are as haunting and radiant as the voice of Enoch. Though hidden in the apocryphal corners of ancient texts, his words tremble with power and point to an age yet to come. In this part, we explore Enoch's prophecies. Messages not only for his time but for ours, and perhaps, for a time even beyond. Enoch's visions were vast, cosmic in scale. He spoke not as a mere mortal, but as one who had traversed the vaults of heaven and returned bearing glimpses of divine order and final judgment. The Book of Enoch begins with a blessing, but it is a blessing tempered with warning. It is for the righteous, yes, but also for those who live in a time of tribulation. The words of the blessing of Enoch, it says, wherewith he blessed the elect and righteous, who will be living in the day of tribulation. From the outset, his prophecy is eschatological, that is, concerned with the end of days. Enoch's eyes do not dwell in the past but are fixed forward, on a reckoning, on a restoration. The Book of the Watchers. One of the most dramatic segments of Enoch's prophecy comes in the form of the tale of the Watchers. Angels who descended to earth, took wives among human women, and fathered the Nephilim, giants and heroes of old. These Watchers, led by figures like Azazel and Samjaza, violated the boundaries set by heaven. They introduced forbidden knowledge, metallurgy, cosmetics, sorcery, astrology. The world, once innocent, was now tainted by power and pride. God, seeing the corruption, sent judgment. The Great Flood, known to us from the story of Noah, was not just a response to human wickedness, it was also the judgment upon the Watchers and their offspring. Enoch is chosen to be the intermediary, to deliver God's verdict to the fallen angels. He journeys through dimensions of reality, into blazing mountains and prisons of stars, to witness their punishment. This section of prophecy is not merely a mythological tale. It is a theological mirror, reflecting the dangers of arrogance, forbidden knowledge, and the blending of heavenly authority with earthly ambition. Visions of judgment. Enoch's prophecies extend beyond angels. He sees the destiny of nations. He witnesses the destruction of kings and kingdoms. He describes cosmic signs, stars falling, the moon changing its course, the heavens shaking. But in the midst of terror, there is also promise. Enoch speaks of the Son of Man, a title later used by Jesus, who sits on a throne of glory, who judges the wicked, and who brings peace to the righteous. This messianic figure is radiant, chosen before time, revealed to the elect. In Enoch's vision, this Son of Man will cast out evil, break the power of kings, and establish eternal justice. The parallels with Christian eschatology are profound. Some scholars believe the imagery in Revelation borrows from Enoch. The thrones, the books, the angels, the seals, all find their roots in Enoch's dreamlike revelations. The animal apocalypse. Another strange and symbolic prophecy found in Enoch is what scholars call the animal apocalypse. In this vision, the history of the world is told through animals. Adam is a white bull. Abel is a red bull. Other animals represent various nations and peoples. This allegory maps biblical history through symbols, showing the rise and fall of empires, the coming of the flood, the birth of Israel, the exile, and the promise of restoration. In the final portion of this vision, the animals are transformed. The Messiah is introduced as a great white bull. All other beasts gather to him. The world is renewed. No longer are there predators and prey. All live in harmony. It is a pastoral vision of paradise restored. But it only comes after great upheaval. The heavenly tablets. Throughout his journey, Enoch is shown the heavenly tablets, a kind of divine library that contains the destiny of mankind. Every action, every decision, every generation is recorded. This concept is echoed in other traditions. The idea that heaven holds a record, that nothing is forgotten. It is a reminder that our lives, though fleeting, are not unnoticed. Enoch sees the names of the righteous written in glory, and the deeds of the wicked recorded for judgment. He is told that there is a time for mercy, but also a time when mercy ends, and justice must come. the elect one. Central to Enoch's prophecies is the elect one, a pre-existent being chosen by God to bring light, truth, and final judgment. He is described as shining brighter than the sun, more glorious than the stars. He is hidden for a time, then revealed. He is rejected by the powerful, but exalted by God. To the elect, he is a shepherd. To the wicked, he is a consuming fire. Enoch writes, "This is the Son of Man, who reveals all the treasures of that which is hidden, who is chosen of God and whose lot has prevailed before the Lord of spirits in uprightness forever." This figure brings division. He separates the sheep from the goats, the righteous from the corrupt. Yet, he also brings healing and peace to those who wait for him. A message for the end of the age. Perhaps the most startling part of Enoch's prophecy is this. He says his words are not meant for his own generation, but for a distant future. He writes, "Not for this generation do I speak, but for a remote one, for the generation that is to come." He speaks of wars, of shaking earth, of fire-consuming cities. He warns of false leaders, of blind shepherds, of a world that forgets its creator. But again, he offers hope. He says that righteousness will rise like the sun, that the earth will be cleansed, that those who mourn will be comforted. Enoch's prophecies are mysterious, symbolic, often terrifying, but they are also beautiful. They speak of divine justice, yes, but also of cosmic mercy. They remind us that history is not chaos, it is a story. That judgment is not vengeance, it is restoration. That the end is not destruction, it is a new beginning. In the silence of the night, when stars whisper their secrets and time feels thin, the words of Enoch still echo. He walked with God. He saw beyond the veil. And he spoke, not just to his world, but to ours. Part 5. The Heavenly Realms. Enoch's ascent into the secrets of the cosmos. In the mystical writings attributed to Enoch, particularly in the Book of Enoch, a captivating narrative unfolds, one of celestial ascension, divine revelations, and the intricate architecture of the heavens. This part of Enoch's journey is perhaps the most awe-inspiring, as it offers glimpses into the nature of the spiritual universe far beyond mortal comprehension. Enoch did not merely receive visions on earth, he was taken beyond it. According to the text, Enoch is summoned by angels to traverse the heavens, ascending from one level to the next, guided by heavenly beings who reveal to him the hidden workings of creation and divine judgment. This ascent through the heavens is one of the earliest known literary accounts of mystical elevation. The first heaven. The journey begins in the first heaven. Enoch is shown the clouds, the winds, and the storehouses of snow and dew. He witnesses the angelic beings who control weather and the cycles of time. The first heaven is closest to earth and reflects the divine order behind the natural world. Here, Enoch learns that nothing is accidental. Rain, lightning, snow, and thunder all have appointed guardians. The rhythmic harmony of nature is not chaotic, but divinely orchestrated. The second heaven. As Enoch ascends into the second heaven, the tone shifts. He is shown a dark and foreboding place, a prison for rebellious angels. These are the angels who turned away from their divine commission and interfered with humanity, leading to great corruption. The angels here are in chains, awaiting judgment. Their fall is a warning and a lesson. Enoch is told that rebellion in the spiritual realm has consequences, and that divine justice is certain and inescapable. The third heaven. The third heaven is a place of profound contrast. Enoch beholds paradise itself, lush, fragrant gardens, rivers of light, trees bearing every kind of fruit. It is a place of rest for the righteous, where no sorrow or pain can enter. This realm also contains a region of punishment for the wicked. Enoch learns that justice and mercy are intertwined in the divine plan. While the righteous are given rest, the unjust face the consequences of their deeds. In this heaven, Enoch receives direct knowledge about the final destiny of souls and the criteria by which all are judged. The fourth heaven. In the fourth heaven, Enoch witnesses the sun and the moon, each riding in chariots guided by angelic beings. He learns the secrets of cosmic cycles, the phases of the moon, the solar paths, the seasons, and the sacred calendar. He is told how the lights in the heavens not only govern time on earth, but also serve as signs. Every eclipse, every solstice, every movement has significance in the spiritual order. Here, Enoch also sees choirs of angels praising God continually. These angels serve not mankind but creation itself, keeping the harmony of the universe. The fifth heaven. This realm is filled with grieving angels. These are the watchers who, though not yet fully condemned, mourn their choices. They had once descended to earth to guide humanity, but instead became entangled in earthly desires. Now they cry out, not in defiance but in sorrow, praying for mercy. Enoch is told not to intercede for them, for their destiny is sealed. Yet their remorse is a haunting testimony to the tragedy of misused freedom. The sixth heaven. In the sixth heaven, Enoch sees the archangels, Gabriel, Michael, Raphael, Phanuel, and others who keep watch over the cosmos. These angels record the deeds of mankind, oversee nations, guide history, and dispense divine will. He is shown the sacred scrolls that contain the histories of every soul, every deed, every prayer. Here, the divine blueprint of time is preserved. Enoch learns that nothing is lost. Every act of kindness, every sin, every silent tear is known in the halls of heaven. The seventh heaven. The seventh heaven is the most glorious. Enoch is brought before the very throne of God. The majesty is beyond description. Light that cannot be borne, songs that shake the foundations of eternity, beings with eyes of flame and wings of fire. Here, the seraphim, cherubim, and thrones worship continually. The presence of the Almighty is so overwhelming that even the highest angels cover themselves in reverence. Enoch falls on his face, unable to stand. He is lifted by angels and granted a vision of the eternal kingdom. He sees the Son of Man, seated beside the Ancient of Days, clothed in glory. He is told of the coming judgment, the restoration of the righteous, and the renewal of the world. He is also given a new name and transformed, no longer mortal, but one who now bears the light of heaven. Secrets of the universe. Throughout his journey, Enoch is taught many secrets. The foundations of the earth, the origin of winds and stars, the names and functions of angelic orders, the fate of nations and kings, the signs that precede the final day. But he is also warned, not all knowledge is to be revealed. Some truths are too great for human minds. Some things must remain veiled until the appointed time. Enoch's transformation. After witnessing the glories and mysteries of heaven, Enoch is no longer the same. He is not merely a man. He becomes a heavenly scribe, a witness to divine truths. The angels call him the Son of Man, and the writer of righteousness. He is sent back, not to stay, but to deliver a message to the sons of men, to call them to turn from wickedness, to walk with God. Eventually, he is taken again, this time forever. He enters into the light, never to return to the world of men. And thus, his journey becomes a mirror, a map, a testimony that the heavens are real, that the soul is eternal, and that every step we take toward righteousness brings us closer to the realm beyond the stars. Part 6. The Book of Parables. Enoch's vision of the Son of Man and the end of days. In the Book of Parables, also known as the Similitudes of Enoch, a series of profound visions are revealed to Enoch. Visions that foretell the future of mankind, the coming judgment, and above all, the mysterious and glorious figure known as the Son of Man. This portion of Enoch's writings stands as one of the most theologically rich and eschatologically charged segments, filled with allegory, prophecy, and cosmic revelation. The first parable. The coming of the righteous one. The first parable introduces a radiant vision. Enoch sees the heavens opened and the angels gathering. From the midst of heaven comes forth a being like a son of man, whose face shines like the sun and who is seated on a throne of glory. This figure is not merely angelic. He is divine. He is called the elect one, the righteous one, and the Son of Man. He is chosen before the foundation of the world. Through him, justice shall be administered to the earth. Enoch is told that this Son of Man will be revealed in the last days, when the mighty and the kings of the earth tremble before him. He will expose the hidden deeds of darkness, judge the corrupt, and lift up the righteous. A day is coming, Enoch hears, when all the works of men will be made manifest. No secret shall remain hidden. The books will be opened. The roll of the angels. In this vision, Enoch sees angelic hosts keeping record books. These are the chronicles of human actions, thoughts, and intentions. Some angels serve as accusers, others as defenders. All are under the command of the Most High. The angelic realm is not passive. They are guardians of justice, watchers over the nations, and heralds of divine decrees. Enoch sees that the world is not abandoned. Heaven watches always. The second parable, the judgment of the kings and the mighty. The second parable reveals the downfall of earthly power. Enoch sees the kings of the earth gather together, plotting and boasting of their achievements. But their pride blinds them. Then the Son of Man appears. He does not come with armies or weapons. He comes with power from heaven. The kings cry out in terror. Their faces grow pale. The mountains melt before him. He sits on the throne of judgment, and before him are brought the souls of the dead. The righteous are separated from the wicked. The righteous are given garments of glory and eternal rest. The wicked are cast into the valley of punishment. Enoch sees the tears of those who thought their deeds were forgotten. But nothing is lost. Justice is perfect. The Messiah before time. A striking revelation in the Book of Parables is that the Son of Man existed before creation. He was hidden with God, prepared from eternity to be revealed at the appointed time. He is both divine and chosen. He walks among the stars, yet his heart is for the humble. He hears the cries of the oppressed. He will wipe away every tear. He is not only judge, he is redeemer. Through him, the faithful will inherit the light. The third parable, the new heaven and the earth. The third parable unveils the culmination of time. Enoch sees a new heaven and a new earth. The old world passes away like a dream. The sea is no more. The pain is no more. Death is no more. The throne of God descends, and the elect one stands beside it. Together, they reign in eternal light. The righteous shine like stars. They walk in peace, free from toil, fear, and suffering. The nations are healed. The earth is restored. And Enoch sees the tree of life, growing beside living waters. Its fruit brings immortality. The faithful eat and are satisfied. The rebellious angels judged. Among the most solemn parts of the vision is the judgment of the fallen angels, the watchers. These beings, once majestic, now stand in shame. Enoch is shown their names, their crimes, and their fates. They are cast into the abyss, a place of eternal darkness. They cry out, but no answer comes. Their time of repentance has passed. This act of justice shows that even the highest cannot escape the laws of heaven. The role of wisdom and truth. Enoch is taught that wisdom calls to the sons of men, but few listen. Truth walks the earth, but many reject it. In the last days, however, wisdom shall be poured out like water upon the righteous. Enoch sees scrolls of light descending from heaven, books of wisdom, instruction, and prophecy. Those who receive them will understand mysteries hidden from the foundation of the world. The blessed of the Lord. At the end of the visions, Enoch sees a great assembly. Countless multitudes from every land and language stand before the throne. They sing with voices like rivers. Blessed is he who lives forever. Blessed is the Son of Man who brings justice. Blessed are the ones who loved righteousness. And he sees their faces, radiant, joyful, free. The final word. The vision closes with Enoch being told to write down all that he has seen. He is charged to preserve the words until the appointed generation, for many will reject them in his time. But in the days to come, when wickedness grows and truth is rare, the words of Enoch shall be sought again. For in them lies a promise. That judgment is real. That justice will prevail. That the Son of Man will come. And that those who walk in light shall dwell in glory. Part 7. The Astronomical Book. The Heavenly Order and the Secrets of the Universe. Among the most intellectually awe-inspiring segments of the Book of Enoch is the Astronomical Book, also known as the Book of the Heavenly Luminaries. In this section, Enoch is taken on a cosmic journey by the angel Uriel, the archangel of wisdom and light. The purpose of this journey is to teach Enoch the divine mechanics of time, seasons, celestial bodies, and their sacred rhythms, the appointed paths of the sun and moon. Uriel reveals to Enoch that the movements of the sun and moon are not random, but follow paths established by the Most High. There are 12 great portals in the sky, 6 in the east and 6 in the west, through which the sun enters and exits throughout the year. As the seasons change, the sun shifts from one portal to another, marking the cycle of months and days. The year is divided into 364 days, arranged in perfect mathematical harmony. Enoch is told this is the true and divine calendar, different from the confused calendars of man. The moon too follows a fixed course, waxing and waning according to laws written in the heavens. Enoch is shown the phases of the moon and their correspondence to the solar calendar. The moon sometimes leads, sometimes lags behind the sun, but always follows its divine pattern. The 4 quarters of the year. Uriel instructs Enoch on the 4 cardinal seasons, each consisting of exactly 91 days. These quarters of the year are marked by solstices and equinoxes, moments of great spiritual significance. The angels who guard time ensure these boundaries are preserved. The spring brings renewal, the summer growth, the autumn harvest, and the winter rest. Each season has its appointed spirit, its angelic overseer, and its sacred meaning. The stars and the host of heaven. Enoch is next shown the constellations, the fixed stars that wheel through the heavens. He learns that stars too have names, tasks, and ranks. Some are watchers over nations, others messengers of divine events. Enoch sees the Pleiades, Orion, and other ancient signs. He is told that stars obey laws written on heavenly tablets. They are not just lights, but intelligent servants of God. But there are stars that rebelled. These are the wandering stars, fallen angels who did not keep to their stations. They are bound in darkness, awaiting judgment. The wind, thunder, and lightning. Uriel then leads Enoch to the repositories of the natural forces. There are storehouses of wind, chambers of lightning, and fountains of thunder. All of these are controlled by angelic forces. Enoch learns that storms, rain, dew, and frost are not accidents, but released at divine command. The snow has a treasury. The hail has a boundary. The rainbow is not just a sign, it is a covenant. The laws of earthly cycles. The angel reveals to Enoch the laws of the earth. How rivers flow, how mountains rise, how the sea obeys its limits. Enoch sees the circuits of the sun beneath the earth, the foundations of the deep, and the chains that bind Leviathan and Behemoth. He is taught that all nature operates by divine law. The misalignment of nature is due to human sin and the rebellion of the Watchers. The corruption of calendars. Uriel laments that men have forsaken the sacred calendar. They have followed lunar months, ignored the intercalary days, and corrupted the holy order of time. As a result, festivals are no longer aligned with the heavens. The appointed times of rest and worship are lost. In the end times, Uriel says, the righteous will restore the true calendar. Time and judgment. Time itself is shown to be a mystery. Enoch learns that days and nights are counted not only in numbers, but also in righteousness. There are days of light and days of darkness, times of grace and times of judgment. The heavenly tablets record it all. Every sunrise and sunset is a witness. Every full moon a reminder of the covenant. The importance of understanding. Uriel tells Enoch that knowledge of the cosmos is a sacred duty. To understand the heavens is to understand God's order. Those who distort the heavens distort the truth. But the wise will look to the skies and understand the signs. They will know when the time is near. They will keep the seasons holy and walk in harmony with creation. Enoch's return. After this long journey, Enoch is returned to the earth. His face glows with the light of heaven. He writes down all he has seen, recording the courses of the stars, the names of the angels, and the rhythms of sacred time. He is told that few will believe his words, but a remnant will understand. They will read the book of the Luminaries, and through it, remember that the universe is not a machine of chaos, but a song of order, composed by the Creator. Part 8. The Dream Visions. History foretold in night silence. In Part 8 of Enoch's sacred writings, the tone shifts once again. Where the Astronomical Book revealed the heavens' mechanics, the dream visions, also known as the animal apocalypse, unveil a prophetic panorama of human history. This portion is poetic, mysterious, and deeply symbolic, as Enoch sees the rise and fall of nations, the corruption of leaders, and the eventual triumph of the righteous one, all told through the metaphor of animals. The first dream, the deluge and the fall of the watchers. Enoch begins with a vision of a white bull, the symbol of the first man, Adam. From him comes a red heifer, Eve, and together they bear many animals. Among them, black bulls and various colored beasts represent the children of Cain and Seth. As Enoch dreams, he sees stars falling from heaven, symbolizing the watchers descending to earth. They mix with the animals, leading to the birth of monstrous beings, unnatural and full of violence. This mingling mirrors the events of Genesis 6. The earth cries out, and the great flood is sent. Enoch sees the ark, a white tower built by the righteous man, Noah, and the animals entering in pairs. The waters rise. The corrupted beasts are swept away. Only those chosen survive. The second dream, Abraham to Egypt. The vision moves forward. A white bull is born, Abraham, followed by other white bulls representing Isaac and Jacob. 12 sheep emerge, Jacob's sons, the fathers of Israel's tribes. They grow and multiply, but a foreign beast appears, a wolf, which symbolizes Egypt. The sheep are enslaved and mistreated. They cry out, and their voice reaches the heavens. A great ram arises, Moses, who leads the sheep to freedom. The Red Sea parts, and the wolf is drowned. This ram guides the sheep through the wilderness, aided by another ram, Aaron. But the sheep rebel, falling into idolatry. They create a golden calf and forget their deliverer. The vision mourns their disobedience. The third dream, from judges to kings. Enoch sees a time of judges and temporary guardians, rams who protect the sheep but fail to unite them. Then a majestic ram rises, King David, who defeats lions and bears, representing Israel's enemies. The sheep are blessed, their pastures flourish. Another great ram follows, Solomon, building a shining tower, the temple in Jerusalem. But the sheep begin again to go astray. They mingle with dogs, foxes, and ravens, symbols of foreign influence and spiritual decay. The fourth dream, exile and return. As the sheep stray further, they are attacked by a lion, Babylon. The temple is burned. The sheep are led away, scattered among beasts. But a small group returns, guided by another ram, Zerubbabel. They rebuild the tower, though smaller. Still, the sheep continue to sin. Prophets, symbolized as eagles, cry out, warning the flock. But the sheep kill them. One after another, righteous messengers are silenced. The fifth dream, the coming of the great horned ram. Then, suddenly, a magnificent ram appears, glowing brighter than the sun. He has a great horn between his eyes. This is the righteous one, the Messiah. He leads the sheep with perfect wisdom. The wolves and lions tremble before him. The blind sheep see again. The lost are gathered. But many sheep resist. They ally with the beasts. A great war follows. Heavenly and earthly forces collide. Judgment and the new earth. Thrones are set up. Books are opened. The shepherd of light judges every beast, every sheep, every ram. The evil are cast into a pit of darkness. The righteous are lifted up. A new white bull is born, the symbol of a renewed humanity. Enoch sees the earth transformed. A new tower rises, greater than any before. The animals live in peace. There are no predators, no fear. All follow the light. The dream ends. When Enoch awakes, he writes down everything. He knows he has seen the full arc of history, from Eden to the new creation. Every symbol, every beast, every tower, all are warnings and hopes for future generations. He hides the books, saying, "In the last days, the wise will understand." And then he waits for the time when the vision will be fulfilled. Part 9, the Epistle of Enoch, a letter to the last generation. The final portion of the Book of Enoch brings the reader into a deeply intimate space. No longer a vision or a parable, the Epistle of Enoch is a direct communication, a solemn letter written to those who will live in the last days. It is a father's warning, a prophet's plea, and a sage's final words entrusted to time. To those yet to be born. Enoch opens his letter with a tender, haunting line. To those who will come after, the elect and the righteous who will witness the end. He writes not to his generation, but to ours, or one that is still to come. He speaks to those surrounded by chaos, corruption, and falsehood, urging them not to be deceived by the world's temporary power. He calls them to hold fast to truth, even as darkness thickens. He assures them that though the wicked prosper for a time, their judgment is certain. Their gold will rust. Their towers will fall. Their names will vanish from the earth. Woes to the sinners and oppressors. A series of woes follows. Harsh poetic condemnations aimed at the corrupt kings, the rich who exploit the poor, the judges who pervert justice, and the scribes who twist the words of truth. Woe to you who build with blood. Woe to you who trample the just beneath your feet. Woe to you, for your portion shall be in the pit. These words, though ancient, burn with modern relevance. They echo in boardrooms, in courtrooms, and in every place where power is abused. Enoch does not write to entertain, he writes to awaken. Encouragement to the righteous. But Enoch's letter is not all doom. To the righteous, he offers words of immense comfort. Do not fear, O sons of light. Your cries are heard. Your tears are numbered. Your names are written in the book of life. He reminds them that their suffering is not in vain, that their stand for justice echoes in the halls of heaven. The Holy One knows your path. He walks with you in the fire. Prophecies of the Chosen One. A central figure re-emerges. The Chosen One, also called the Son of Man, Enoch, describes his coming not as a whisper, but as a cosmic event. The mountains shall melt before him. The stars will fall. And every eye shall see him. This figure will judge the kings of the earth, raise the lowly, and usher in a reign of peace. He is radiant, clothed in glory, and speaks with the authority of the Ancient of Days. Enoch emphasizes, the Chosen One existed before the world began, and he will remain when it ends. The final separation. Enoch sees a great division coming, a separation of light from darkness, truth from lies, sheep from goats. The righteous will dwell in eternal light, while the wicked will face the abyss. He pleads with all who read his letter to choose the path of wisdom. Walk not in the counsel of the ungodly. Stand not in the way of sinners, but delight in the law of the Most High. Cosmic justice. Enoch envisions a time when the earth itself will testify. The mountains will speak. The rivers will weep. The stars will sing justice. No act of violence, no word of cruelty, no betrayal will go unnoticed. The universe itself will be a witness, and every injustice will be overturned. The hope of restoration. Despite the heavy tone, Enoch ends on hope. He sees a new earth, purified, restored, shining with the glory of the Creator. The trees will bloom forever. The seas will be calm. The lion will lie down with the lamb. There will be no more death, no more war, no more deceit. Truth will walk among men. Wisdom will be treasured. And the Holy One will dwell with his people. Final words. Enoch closes his epistle with a final blessing. Blessed are those who heed these words. Blessed are those who wait. Blessed are those who overcome. Then he writes his name in humility, hands the scrolls to his sons, and disappears from the world of men. taken, body and soul, into the light. Part 10. The Final Judgment and the New Heaven and Earth. In the final arc of the Book of Enoch, the narrative crescendos into visions of ultimate justice, cosmic renewal, and the establishment of a new order untouched by corruption and sin. This part, often scattered throughout the Epistle of Enoch and various visionary fragments, speaks of a divine reckoning, a time when all secrets will be revealed, all deeds judged, and all creation renewed. Enoch's visions become increasingly apocalyptic. He sees the day when the Ancient of Days will sit upon his throne, and the books will be opened. The deeds of every human and every spirit are laid bare. There is no hiding, no deception that can escape divine scrutiny. The vision is both awe-inspiring and terrifying. The wicked, the kings, the mighty, the oppressors, are judged for their arrogance, their exploitation of the earth, and their rebellion against heaven. Their end is complete annihilation. They cry out, not in repentance, but in anguish, realizing too late that their power was fleeting. Their places will be no more, and their memory will fade into nothingness. By contrast, the righteous shine like stars. They are raised up, glorified, and given their inheritance in the new world to come. This new creation is described in beautiful imagery. A land of peace, where rivers of light flow, where fruit trees bloom eternally, where no injustice or death remains. It echoes the imagery of Eden but elevated, Eden perfected. Enoch also sees the renewal of the heavens themselves. The sun and moon are restored to perfect order, the stars to their appointed paths. The disorder sown by the watchers is undone. Creation itself rejoices in its liberation from corruption. The Messiah, referred to in the text as the Elect One or the Son of Man, takes center stage in this judgment. He is depicted not only as a redeemer but as a ruler, executing justice, restoring balance, and establishing eternal peace. This pre-Christian portrayal of a divine messianic figure deeply influenced later Jewish and Christian eschatology. One particularly striking vision is of the resurrection of the righteous. Their spirits are returned from Sheol, clothed in garments of glory, and welcomed into the light of the eternal. They sing hymns of praise, not just for their own deliverance but for the vindication of God's name and justice. The Book of Enoch closes with Enoch's final words to his children and the generations to come. He urges them to walk in truth, to avoid the paths of violence and deceit, and to remember that all things are seen by God. His final plea is not one of fear, but of hope, that all creation would one day be restored, and that peace would reign forever. In these final visions, we are reminded that the story of Enoch is not just about judgment, it is about restoration. It is about the triumph of light over darkness, of truth over lies, of heaven over chaos. And in the stillness of these ancient words, one can almost hear the echo of eternity. A promise that the righteous will endure, the wicked will fall, and the earth will be made new. Part 11. Enoch's Ascension and Transformation. The culmination of Enoch's journey is not merely the visions he received or the judgments he witnessed. It is his own transformation, his final ascent into the heavenly realms, and his place among the immortal watchers of creation. This part is one of the most mysterious and sacred moments in ancient religious literature. Enoch, the man who walked with God, did not die a mortal death. Instead, as Genesis 5 verse 24 briefly notes and the Book of Enoch expands upon in great detail, he was taken, and he was not, for God took him. This cryptic phrase has stirred theological wonder for millennia. In the narrative, it becomes a divine elevation, an ascension. The heavens open once more, and Enoch is summoned by the Most High. Angels surround him, not as guardians this time, but as companions, welcoming him into the celestial company. He is robed in glory, his earthly garments exchanged for vestments of light. His mortal nature dissolves, replaced by something beyond flesh, pure, eternal, radiant. He is shown things no man had ever seen. The inner chambers of the heavens, the tablets of destiny, the sealed secrets of time and space. He is taught directly by archangels, Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Uriel, who reveal to him the mysteries of creation, judgment, and the nature of divine justice. Enoch becomes more than a prophet. He becomes a scribe of heaven, recording all that he sees. The Book of Enoch itself is a testimony to this role. In some traditions, he is given the title Metatron, the highest of angels, the celestial scribe, the one who sits nearest to the throne of God. Though the Book of Enoch does not use the name Metatron, later Jewish mysticism draws this connection. This ascension is not just physical but spiritual. Enoch is changed in essence. He becomes a bridge between heaven and earth, between mortal and immortal. His voice becomes an eternal echo, calling out across the ages to those who seek righteousness. His transformation is also a sign. It is a precursor to the idea of resurrection, of the righteous being not merely remembered but glorified. His story foreshadows what later scriptures would describe about Elijah, about Jesus, and about the destiny of the faithful. And though he ascends, he does not forget the earth. Enoch, in his glorified form, continues to intercede for humanity, to observe and to warn, to carry prayers and deliver revelations. He becomes part of the divine mechanism through which heaven governs creation. The heavens rejoice at his coming. The stars sing. The righteous angels bow in respect. The throne of God shines more brightly with Enoch now in its presence. In the stillness of eternity, his name is remembered not as one who ruled, or conquered, or accumulated wealth, but as one who walked with God. And so ends the earthly journey of Enoch. But his legacy, his voice, and his visions continue to echo in the hearts of those who seek truth, who long for justice, and who dream of heaven. Part 12. Legacy, Hidden Books, and Enoch in Other Traditions. The story of Enoch does not end with his heavenly transformation. Instead, it extends across ages, cultures, and religious traditions, leaving behind a profound legacy that continues to inspire seekers of truth and wisdom. Part 12 explores the impact of Enoch's life, the hidden books attributed to him, and how he is revered in various faiths beyond the Book of Enoch. In Jewish tradition, Enoch occupies a rare and exalted place. Though he appears only briefly in Genesis, his portrayal in the Book of Enoch and in mystical Jewish texts such as the Hekkalot and Merkabah literature elevates him to angelic status. In these writings, he is transformed into the angel Metatron, the celestial scribe, seated beside the divine throne, recording the deeds of men and acting as a mediator between God and the world. The name Metatron itself is shrouded in mystery, with theories suggesting it means the one who serves behind the throne, or the measure of God. This figure possesses immense authority and knowledge, second only to God in some traditions. The transformation of Enoch into Metatron signifies not only elevation but also continuity, his voice guiding humanity from beyond the veil. In early Christianity, Enoch was highly regarded. The Epistle of Jude in the New Testament directly quotes from the Book of Enoch, specifically the prophecy against the ungodly. Early church fathers such as Tertullian and Irenaeus considered Enoch's writings valuable and divinely inspired. However, over time, the Book of Enoch was excluded from most canonical Bibles, likely due to its mystical and apocalyptic nature. Despite this exclusion, Enoch's influence persisted. In the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, the Book of Enoch, 1 Enoch, remains part of the biblical canon. This preservation allowed it to survive intact for centuries, even as it disappeared from Western traditions. When Western scholars rediscovered the text in the 18th century, it sparked renewed interest in ancient apocalyptic literature and the spiritual world of Second Temple Judaism. In Islam, Enoch is often identified with the prophet Idris, mentioned in the Quran. Idris is described as truthful, patient, and exalted to a high station. Islamic tradition holds that he was the first to write with a pen, the first astronomer, and that he was taken to heaven without tasting death, mirroring the biblical Enoch. In Sufi mysticism, Idris is revered as a master of divine knowledge and spiritual ascent. The legacy of Enoch also survives in the realm of mysticism and esotericism. His name appears in Gnostic texts, Kabbalistic teachings, and in the practices of ceremonial magicians who regard him as a source of secret wisdom. The concept of Enochian language, purported to be the language of angels, was popularized by John Dee and Edward Kelly in the 16th century, further embedding Enoch into the mystical consciousness of the Western world. Beyond religious texts, Enoch's story has inspired countless writers, poets, and thinkers. His journey through the heavens, his defiance of the Watchers, and his deep compassion for humanity have made him a symbol of righteous resistance, divine intimacy, and the possibility of transformation. Perhaps most significantly, the books attributed to Enoch represent a hidden stream of sacred knowledge. The Book of Enoch itself claims that it was written not just for Enoch's time, but for a generation far off, a people in the latter days who would understand its message. This idea of a hidden book, preserved for those with eyes to see and hearts to receive, continues to captivate. Enoch's legacy is one of bridging worlds, the mortal and the divine, the visible and the invisible, the past and the future. He reminds us that righteousness is not forgotten, that the heavens are watching, and that those who walk with God are never truly lost. In closing, the story of Enoch is not just an ancient tale. It is a living narrative, whispered in stars, etched in hidden texts, and remembered in the hearts of those who seek light in darkness.